crown jewels on the YouTube streets. Likes are low, suspense is high. We're chasing truth, we spot every lie. Step into the darkness, hold on tight. Two flashlights out there in the dead of night. On the YouTube screen, we're digging deep. Barry Morphew's case is hot. A boy in Tennessee won't be left behind. From the coldest cases to the ones that shine, true crime's calling, and we're taking the time. So grab a seat, don't miss a beat. This true crime jewel's got what you need. We're always watching Barry. That's the proof. So hit that play. Well, I'm sitting in my chair late at night, watching crime unfold under the pale moonlight. From the darkest corners, stories unfold. True crime jewels, she's brash and she is bold. On the YouTube screen, we're digging deep into the mysteries that never sleep. From missing kids in Tennessee to angry husbands named Barry, true crime's calling, and we're taking the time. So grab a seat, don't miss a beat. This true crime jewel's got what you need.
All right, folks.
From
The
missing
birds
people
are in bed.
twisted minds, we're unraveling.
It's time for Barry Behind Bars to have lights out, Barry. You better get used to that, buddy, because when those charges come again, you're going to be back on a schedule. You know what I mean? All right. I hope everybody is doing quite well and wonderful. I'm a little down because my friend was going to join me tonight. She was going to be on panel, and she wasn't able to because her baby is sick. So it's just me tonight. So welcome. Hey, Aiden's Lodge Maiden, you are number 1 tonight. Congratulations. Sipping on, wonderful to see you. Hybrid Pisces, the first official winner of the Jewels of Thought Oculus giveaway. I hope you will tell all the people how much you have enjoyed the Oculus. Kimmy Lou, good to see you. Mary Lindsay, so glad to have you. Mima, although I think Mary may be cheating a little. She came in and got her number and then she scurried away. I don't know if that counts, Mary. Aiden's Lodge Maiden, you need a number. So do you. Well, Hybrid, you've already won an Oculus, so you can't win another one. Aiden's Lodge Maiden, you have to get a number by hitting the thumbs up. When you get your number, post it in the chat, and then you go into a drawing for an Oculus. And Hybrid Pisces actually won the first Oculus that I gave away. All right, Sunshine, welcome. Martian Planet, my friend. Hey, Martian, I hope that you are getting prepared because Houston, Texas is going to have ice and snow next Tuesday. Know what I mean? So get ready. You remember what happened 4 years ago or 5 years ago. Ohio Stephanie, welcome. Good to have you. Sketty Nona, my friend. We're going to do another Bath and Body Works giveaway on I think I'm going to do it on Patreon, Sketty Nona. So I will let you know when that is happening. Brown-eyed girl, welcome. Sunset Gazin', my friend. Hey, Dandy Patch, good to see you. Tennis PI, good to have you. Miss Catherine. Long, tall Sally, long, cool Sally. Grandma of many, then you have been blessed, Grandma, because kids are nothing but blessing. Jen and Don, welcome. Ms. O, Blissful Elixir, my friend. Hey, Dee Dee Sue, Susan Kemp, Lil Red, Paul Boone. Look, Aiden's Lodge actually got one of my 2 lucky numbers. 27 is my lucky number and 31 is my lucky number. PJ, welcome. Let's see, did I get everybody up? I still don't have sound? I damn well better have sound. What you talking about, Louis? All right, if you can hear me, put a 1. Shoot. I thought it was 27, but maybe it was 28. You got a number. It's all that counts. Curious Kate, welcome. Good to have you. Dirty Scoop. I do like that channel name. Teresa Rodriguez, good to have you. Wait for us, North Carolina, with you. Thank you so much. Man, I'm really put out. I got to take a minute. I shouldn't do this. I should resist the urge, but it's not in my nature. I am so put out with what has happened with Tennessee and North Carolina, Georgia, Florida to some extent. I'm furious, and I just have to voice it, because if I don't, then I just feel like I'm going to explode. You know what I mean? We have spent literally billions to a country the size of Texas. And now we have these fires in California. We had the big fire in Maui. And, all this money gets promised everywhere except to those poor people that had their lives wiped out in North Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia, and Florida a bit. Here's the problem. I've seen they're doing complete news stories about all the millionaires, all the movie stars who lost their houses and how sad and tragic it is. And I'm just like, I have a lot of empathy, but I just can't grieve with you. The president comes in and says, okay, we're going to make it so that every taxpayer in the entire country has to bail out all the millionaires in California. And still, no one has said a word about those poor people in the South. It's very frightening. It's very frightening that a group of people can be targeted in this day and age simply because of who they are, where they live. It's wrong. So I'm having a hard time feeling sorry for people that are worth millions of dollars. And it is terrible that they lost their beautiful homes, but I'm going to have a hard time grieving for you. If you've got millions of savings in the bank, residuals that are going to be coming in that will even keep your children wealthy people into their old age, but no one will help the people that had zero savings in their bank accounts, people that are just simply trying to survive, paycheck to paycheck. I'm having a hard time with this. I don't mind owning it. So pardon me for my little moment of soapboxing. I'm going to put the soapbox away now. You'll be happy to know. Selena Dixon, welcome. Bobby J, in the bushes. Get out them bushes. Stay out of them bushes. Hey, blessed mama. Amber E. Sue in California, I'm going to guess. Number 54. Thank you for being here. Melissa, good to have you. And man, there's a lot of people here. We could be here all night. Sorry. Random the Dime, Truth for Us. Diane Hilland, welcome. Critter Watcher, so good to see you. Let's see. I think, no, we haven't gotten everybody. C Star is here. You, a person after my heart. I love the ocean. That's why I live on it. Let's see. I think I've got everybody. Oh, crafting and true crime. Jacqueline, I love your channel name. Very nice. Look at this, my friend, Team Doocy Doo. 222. All right. I think we're going to be done with that because that's a lot of hellos. Okay. Emmy Joe. I can't pass up saying hello. Welcome, Emmy Joe, my friend. Okay. So my title, okay, I just got all messed up, y'all, because my friend was supposed to be on panel with me tonight. She was doing part of the presentation on the flashlights and the trash trucks. And so I made a command decision. I'm changing my topic because we are going to go, we'll either do this topic, flashlights, trash trucks, and lies. We're either going to do that tomorrow afternoon or we're going to be doing it on Saturday night. Okay, so one of the other, once she gets things in order, her baby is sick, so that, you know, babies come first, right? So we're going to do that. So I switched what I wanted to focus on tonight. I hope you guys will forgive me for that. And so I wanted to sort of continue this conversation that I'd already had on Katie and her very strange choices. And so as I was preparing for this, a very odd thing happened. And I don't know if you guys have seen this. Hang on just a second. Hold on. Let me find it. There we go, right here. All right, so here is the video. And this is just crazy. Like, this is crazy. So True Crime Buzz has put out information that green hoodie lady, you're a liar, Stephen Fisher. I'm sorry, but you are. You have completely disrupted any type of intelligent conversation in the disappearance of Sebastian Rogers because you, Stephen or Steve, you have injected lies, falsehoods, dare I say it, BS. You're just flat out a liar. And it's a mystery to me when I go on Twitter and I read Stephen Fisher's SF Investigates is who this guy is. When I read his channel, all of these people are just like, oh, you're the only honest one. You're so great, Stephen. You're amazing. And I'm mystified. I'm just shaking my head and I'm thinking, are you guys like watching what's happening? Are you keeping track of the lies that this man has told? And apparently they're not. But I'm not concerned about saying he's a liar. One of the things that he absolutely lied about, 100%, no gray areas, no abstraction. It's just a simple lie. He said that Katie said that Green Hoodie is an old dude. Green Hoodie is not an old dude. Green Hoodie is actually a woman. And it turns out she's related to Christopher Proudfoot. And she's dead. Who can make this up? Now, I don't mind saying this, okay? I'm going to be real careful here. This is a little disturbing. I don't think, okay, how do I say this? Oh, you guys can't see what I'm showing. I'm so sorry. Why is it not showing? Are y'all hearing music? You should not be hearing music. Okay, there's that. But you're not in that anymore. So why is it still? Okay, good. All right. So apparently, well, let me report it this way. True Crime Buzz is reporting that green hoodie woman is dead, that she has passed on. And I find that freaky. Well, there's a lot of problems with this, okay? Number one, what do you think about the fact? Okay, so this person supposedly went to heaven like November 18th. I know, this is so bizarre. November 18th, okay? According to True Crime Buzz. And I'm hesitant to report on anything True Crime Buzz puts out. And here's the reason why. Because I don't believe True Crime Buzz is Bullhorn Betty. Now, J is for Justice is telling everyone that this is Bullhorn Betty, but I don't think so. I put this through my audio editing software, and you can reverse voice distortion. And I think it is someone that J is for Justice is very intimately related to. Okay. So she, for some weird reason, she wants us to believe that it's Bullhorn Betty. It is not Bullhorn Betty. Okay. Now that being said, I'm hesitant to report this as real. Well, I'll just say it. I actually, when I work with the audio on this, it absolutely sounds like Jay herself. Yeah. So when you remove the distortion, it's definitely J is for Justice. Or it's, to me, my opinion is that it sounds very much like J is for Justice, and perhaps I'm wrong. Okay, I'll own that. But I'm certain enough for my own devices. I'm certain enough that I'm highly skeptical of whatever this woman puts out. Wait a minute, Linda. Wait a minute. Whoop, 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 whoop. Linda says, Nick said that it was Jay. No, I mean, Joe, no. I think when you reverse the AI that's on the audio, it no longer sounds like Bullhorn Betty. She's intentionally trained her AI software to recognize Betty's voice and to use Betty's voice. But one of the things you can't do anything about is like things like laughter. You can't hide what your laughter is like. All right, now then. So how is Buzz live if hybrid? How is True Crime Buzz live? Okay, well, anyway, maybe you may be right, Amy. But anyway, so I'm skeptical about anything that True Crime Buzz is saying. And so she is the one that's reporting that Green Hoodie is dead. But I'm skeptical of anything that this person is putting out on their channel, because I know for a fact that she is trying to make herself sound like Bullhorn Betty. She would have done that with her AI software. And the question is, why in the world would you make videos training your AI software to sound like Bullhorn Betty, and then get on your own channel and say, oh, it's totally Bullhorn Betty, and it's not. It actually sounds like you. So I think that is incredibly interesting that Nick said that he thought that it was Betty or Jay. I think that's fascinating. True Crime Buzz is not Crime Time Buzz. Which one are you referring to? I'm referring to Crime Time Buzz. I misstated True Crime. Crime Time Buzz is the one who's reporting that green hoodie lady or green hoodie dude is dead. Because that's what SF Investigates told us, is that it was a dude, that it was an old man. True Crime Buzz. Let's see if she's still alive. Yes, she is still alive. Okay, so she's still alive. Okay. So I don't really want to run I don't want to play the video, and I didn't listen to it other than just a little bit to make sure that's actually what they were saying. So I did listen to it enough that she in fact says, yes, the green hoodie lady is dead. She died, I think it was November the 18th. GH obit is out there. But who is GH I am to bear? I mean, it's okay if she's dead. You can use her name. All I will say is Oni. Look, hybrid. I'm with you, girl. I know. Who remembers that little bit of internet lore and history? There was Oni. Someone got swatted, and I don't remember now who it was. Someone got swatted. They were able to get the 911 call. The person said their name was Oni, but it was J is for Justice's voice. True story. All right. So, yeah, she's been playing around with the voice changing software for a long time. And now with the artificial intelligence being so effective and efficient, you can now train your audio to sound like anyone you want it to sound like. It's not really good. Like, she didn't do a very good job. You can absolutely hear that it's J's for Justice with her when she laughs. That was the first thing that caught my attention. I was like, no, that is not at all what Bullhorn sounds like when she laughs. Not at all. And so then, we went back and reversed the training, so to speak, and it's Jay. Let's see. So you guys are saying who is Melissa Reichard? Right? Reichard? She is Chris's half sister on his biological father's side. How weird is it, y'all? Let's think about this a minute. SF Investigates, he knew he was lying when he said, it's an old dude, right? He knew he was telling a bald-faced lie. And so he puts out, he says, oh, this is an old guy. And he was a little disoriented and, just trying to go between the cars to get into the restaurant. How bizarre is it that he went live and wore a green hoodie, trolling people, right? He goes live. He's wearing a green hoodie to troll people. And now we find out the woman is dead. She died. How is that funny to wear a green hoodie to troll the true crime community? It's creepy as hell. Even if it was a complete and total stranger, it's creepy, right? If you believe that is creepy, put a 1. If you think that just showed a great sense of humor for Stephen Fisher to wear a green hoodie, put a 2. maybe I'm being a little too maybe I'm being like a goody two shoes or something. I mean, that is certainly nothing I've ever been accused of. But maybe I'm being a little, Karen-ish about that. But it strikes me as a bit morbid, actually. It's hard to think of how you would, someone who's recently passed, how could you allow yourself to do something so odd like that, right? Okay, so a lot of you felt like that was strange. I'm sure some of you are just like, no, it's okay, it's funny, and that's fine. I'm not saying you're odd, but it just seemed a little. I agree in the bushes. I'm quite skeptical. The other thing that makes me a little creeped out by SF Investigates behavior, wearing the green hoodie, sort of trolling on this idea of the green hoodie woman or dude, that it's supposed to be Christopher Proudfoot's family member. What is wrong with everyone? He is Aiden. He has absolutely acknowledged, Stephen Fisher, they have acknowledged that he is absolutely working for Proudfoot and taking money. That is not a question. It has been answered, right? Which makes it all the more uncomfortable. And I'm being careful with my words. If I was talking like the redneck girl that I am, I'd be a lot more exciting, but I'm going to be real careful here, pretend like I got some raisin. All right. It's uncomfortable that SF Investigates is working for this family who is searching for their lost child. And he's doing strange things like wearing a green hoodie, lying about it's an old man when he knows that it was an old woman, and that added feature that this is Christopher Proudfoot's family member. That is very strange, and it feels kind of sociopathic. Wouldn't you think that if you're working, that there would be some element of dignity, right? That you're doing something, this family is in deep grief, looking for their 15 or 16-year-old son who is on the spectrum. Shouldn't there be some decorum? Shouldn't there be some level of just respect, I guess, for Sebastian? It feels to me like it is terribly, terribly, terribly disrespectful to Sebastian. Not to mention horribly disrespectful to Green Hoodie Lady. But let's be honest, it is horribly disrespectful to Sebastian. So, yeah, I think unprofessional. Yeah, he's C-Star, he's making a mockery of everything connected to the Proudfoot family. He is a joke. Lie. I've never seen anyone so willing to lie on a public platform and to seem to have no type of awareness that he could end up being horribly embarrassed, right? For example, if you went out there, yes, Patricia, I thought the same thing, right? Birds of a feather flock together, don't they? So isn't it funny that you have all these great choices for private investigators? There was Chloe, there was Heather. I mean, there's a lot of really, really great choices, but Christopher Proudfoot picks this bozo. I mean, it is very interesting that he seemed to pick his spirit animal. I mean, these two guys are like, they're probably tucking each other in at night, giving little kissies on the forehead, sleep tight, Chris. Don't let the bed bugs bite, Steven. There's another, to be quite honest, I'm getting disgusted with all of the nonsense. I too, it has made it, how should I say it? So I have a lot of, frustration with law enforcement in this case. And I don't want to, because I love law enforcement, right? They're the best of the best. But I also recognize that sometimes you have dirty cops. Sometimes you have incompetent law enforcement, like in the case of Linda Stanley. And I don't want it to be this way. Like I want them to step up and do the right thing. But it seems that with Christopher Proudfoot's behavior and now Stephen Fisher's just blatant lies and confusion that he's creating, they're doing it with such hubris that it gives me the feeling that they feel protected, that they feel like they don't have to worry about the cops. Cops are on their side. Is it all a good old boys club, or is it something darker and more nefarious? There's things you cannot ignore. You know what I mean? So you don't have to tell me I had to go through a divorce for a decade trying to divorce someone whose family was law enforcement. And you know what, Lodge Maiden? I have heard those are the most traumatic divorces when somebody is either an attorney or law enforcement, because you're already, when you're going through that, people get very, very angry and very hurt and very selfish. And when you have special training and special knowledge, you can act out your abuse in the courtroom against this person that you previously loved. I think that's what made Betty Broderick go right over the edge, and she twisted the hell off. He was doing terrible things to her using the law, and she had no recourse. Nobody would take her case because they were all scared of having to deal with him. And so, yeah, I am so sorry you had to go through that. Some of the nightmare stories I've heard have involved trying to divorce law enforcement or somebody in the legal field. Yep. I'm talking SWAT and Vice. Oh, it's just horrifying, right? Horrifying. Do you know how many people, though? There have been so many women who have been killed, and at the end of the day, it turns out that it was their abusive husband, police officer or SWAT officer, right? Yeah, give somebody a little power and man, they can turn into a monster for sure. Jen is going to appear with Chris from Mob Crew on his channel soon. That will be good. Well, thank you, Monique Smoke, for saying that and making everybody leave my channel. You're a peach, aren't you? I appreciate that. How many times did SF change his explanation of the flashlights? Well, often, Aria. And I believe there were 4 distinct game changes, right? Like notable turns in the story. And that was actually what our video was going to be about. Our topic was going to be about tonight. And my friend has a sick baby. So we're going to either do it tomorrow afternoon or we'll be doing it Saturday night. But we're gonna kind of go through in a methodical way. We sat down together, we got it all together, and I didn't want to just do it because she did so much work. So I wanted to be respectful, and I'm here listening but doing some paperwork. Well, I'm glad you're here, Jules. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Lisa, Reddit posting bad press about Seth. I think in anticipation of the news Tony said would be dropping soon. Wow. What does that mean, that there's going to be news dropping? That's interesting. That's okay, Moniz. I must have misunderstood what you were saying. Mama Boom Boom came out today. I did not see it, JG, but Mama Boom Boom is the one who raised Christopher Proudfoot. So we could sort of deduce how much of a sweetheart she might be, right? So Jay is playing both sides. It's interesting. If you watch her early videos, she bashed Christopher Proudfoot. Georgie girl, I'm glad you said that, because as I was going through that audio file and trying to parse out, I knew it wasn't Bullhorn Betty, even though it kind of sounded like her. I knew it was an AI voice. And so as I was going through trying to strip out that training, I was thinking about, it was actually kind of smart. Think about this. It was actually kind of smart. If it is in fact Jay, it's actually smart because she's built this little following on, I hate Seth going against the green team, meaning the people that support Seth. And so then she makes a whole new channel, comes up with true crime time buzz, and says, we hate Christopher Proudfoot. And then she tells all the people on her channel, ha, 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 this is Bullhorn Betty. She's so dumb to think we believe that's her. You should all go over there and listen to her. So she's now making double money. She's making money from the coverage of Seth and the green team. And now she's making money going against Katie and Christopher Proudfoot. So kind of interesting, right? Especially because she's one that really talks a lot about grifters, and things like that. So it's an interesting possibility. Hey, Tori Hathaway. Jay was live when Buzz was live just now. Yeah, I think Emmy Jo told us that, Tori. Yeah. So 100% I own it that I could be totally wrong. I'm not speaking definitively, but when you do take the training out, it sure does sound like Jay. And the laughter, you just can't get past the laugh. The laugh is so clear. Jay's got not weird, but she has a distinctive kind of sound when she laughs. So, but yeah, I'm not saying it absolutely is, but could be, right? Dual personalities, right? I saw that Truth for Us where her mom turned sick a few days ago, or maybe over Christmas. Oh, I think it was Christmas. Got sick over Christmas. So she's got family there, helping. So yeah, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, it's very difficult. Yeah, I know, Lisa. Everybody is convinced of that. But all right. What do you think the point would be, though, of making your YouTube voice? Why would you use a voice changer to sound like Bullhorn Betty? Why would you do that? Does that seem a little odd? Because you think about this. Why would you make your voice sound like Bullhorn Betty and then tell people, oh, that's Bullhorn Betty, you should go over and watch her? But you're saying that to a group of people that don't like Bullhorn Betty. Why would you do that? I don't quite get that part of it. So it's kind of interesting. All right, now I'm going to move on. Crime tight knit families are the worst. CTB is a sweetheart, and J for J is the devil. She doesn't want to show her face because she's a teacher. Oh, I totally support that, brown-eyed girl. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Jay is not Bullhorn Betty. Of course she's not Bullhorn Betty. Of course she's not. Jay is Jay. All right, now then. Okay, so I thought this was interesting about green hoodie lady passing away, if it is in fact true. So I'm working this out in my mind, right? Oh, are you saying Ginger Girl? Okay, I see what you. So, True Crime Buzz, her name is Jay. Is that what you're telling me? I think that's what you're telling me. Isn't that a coincidence? Okay. So if she passed away November the 18th, And again, I just saw this right before I went live. So I was trying to work out in my mind. So we had February, Sebastian goes missing. March, Christopher and Katie Proudfoot go on Fox and Friends. I'm a little unclear if Fox and Friends aired the segment. I don't think they did. And if they did, maybe it was just like on their okay, is this right? Yeah. Okay. So what you are looking at, let me make sure that you're looking at it before. Yeah. All right. So what you are looking at, you're looking at the Fox and Friends channel, internet channel. And so they did the interview with the Fox and Friends morning host. They did the interview like March the 26th or something, and then supposedly aired or was posted on March the 28th, right? Now, I find this to be fascinating because you go through this interview. Please pay attention to this. This is so crazy. You go through this write-up. Tennessee teenager Sebastian Rogers has been missing for more than a month since he left his bedroom in Hendersonville on February 26, barefoot and with a flashlight. Sumner County Sheriff's Office issued the Amber Alert. He has autism last month after he was seen in the area of Stafford Court. Honestly, we don't know where he is. We haven't found any substantial evidence to locate where he's been or where we went. That's why we are pleading for help, said Mother Katie Proudfoot on Fox and Friends on Thursday morning. Quotation marks. That's why we are pleading for help. Everybody clear on that? They're pleading for help. They go on a national platform pleading for help. That's what Katie says, right? Okay, so what is this? Now, we did do the little tiny little shorts, where the, it's a vertical, recording. It's small. It's hard to see. It's a little bit shocking when you see it big and huge and posted on their website. This is bizarre. This is the picture. Okay. Are there any detectives out there, please? Any cops in Sumner County? Anyone at TBI give a damn? Any of you care about actually finding this boy? Sincerely. This is the picture that Christopher and Katie gave to Fox and Friends to share across the nation because they are desperately pleading for help to find their child. I'm a little curious, y'all. If you were a cop and you were working this case, would this catch your attention? Would you think to yourself, hey, we're looking for this young man and we know what he looks like, and his dad knows what he looks like, and the teachers know what he looks like. So why are they giving this picture of this little boy, this elementary school age boy? Why? I think if I was one of the cops, I think I would be calling both of them in and doing a proper interrogation. I would be reading them their rights. I would separate them, and we would be talking about this for hours. Nothing but, what are you thinking? This is how you plead for the location of your child? Like, why did you even waste your time going on Fox and Friends if this is the picture that you're going to use? Okay, so I think, well, maybe further down in the article, to be fair, maybe further down in the article, there's an updated photograph. Maybe they put out the missing photo. Even the missing photo, though, doesn't have updated photos on it, but definitely closer in age than this little blonde, 9-year-old, right? So we go on through. It says following teenager's disappearance. The teenager. Katie drove 3 hours away from home to meet up with her husband and Sebastian's stepfather, prompting some to wonder why she would travel so far from the area where her son was last seen. Right? He went missing the 26th. This was done in 1 month after he went missing. Bullhorn Betty had not been to Tennessee within 30 days of Sebastian going missing. She wasn't even really doing this case at that time. She had not met Seth and Tony. So when she gets on this interview, she says, oh, well, there were people that were threatening me and harassing me, and my neighborhood was just sick of it. And so I thought that if I left, then, they would leave us alone and my neighbors could get a little reprieve. Is law enforcement watching this group lie? I'll tell you when this interview happened, March 28th. It happened at the same time that the Cajun Navy showed up after finding Riley Strain. They went down then and offered to help Seth, and then they met up with Katie and Christopher. And magically, they were all in helping Seth. But then when they got around Katie and Christopher, they pulled out and said, no, we're getting threats. We're leaving. Oh, but you were fine to work and find Sebastian when you were dealing with just Seth. So I wish that one of them would come forward. I suppose they might if there's a trial. I wish one of them would come forward and tell the truth, why they pulled out of actually searching, because they didn't do that until they actually got in touch with Christopher Proudfoot and Katie. So it's very interesting timing, right? She says, we are posting flyers every direction we can. That was a lie. No, you weren't. You weren't doing anything. But at the same time, there were quite a bit of people that were sending very threatening and hateful messages. They're following us. How could they follow you? You weren't going anywhere, Katie. Another lie. You're as much of a liar as your husband, Christopher, as SF investigates. Sadly, your family spokespeople, because I got a little bit of, well, let me just put it this way. Mr. Crabtree, you're not exactly being honest when you say you just met Christopher, are you, Stephen? And I'm not here to out people, and I'm not here to make people uncomfortable, but why are you lying? Why aren't you just honest about who you are and how you came to know this group of people? Same thing with Clue. Why aren't y'all acknowledging that you may be family, maybe? Why won't you acknowledge it? Why the games? Because you want to give the illusion that there's people that believe what Christopher and Katie are saying. I have not met anyone who outright believes them. I would challenge all of you, when you talk to people and you ask, hey, have you heard about that boy in Tennessee missing? Isn't that the saddest story? Isn't that awful? Oh, yeah, man. They totally did it. It's that quick. So something bizarre about the whole group. Okay, so anyway, so Katie claims that she left the neighborhood within 3 weeks of her boy going missing. She leaves and goes with her husband to the campground, who said he didn't have a job, but he said he went there to work after he had to go get his camper and bring it home because he wasn't going to work, but then he had to go to work. Where's law enforcement? Where are they? I think it's an honest question at this point. I don't think it's picking on the police. I think this is mystifying. Their behavior is every bit as bizarre as Letitia Stout. And TBI and Sheriff Craddock, you guys are going to look horrible if you are put in the same category as Letitia Stout. This is going to look horrible on you guys. I can't even fathom how it is that you're just sitting around watching this nonsense from your boy Christopher, and you just seem to think that no one's noticing their behavior. How about this picture, Sheriff Craddock? Does this photograph make you a little uncomfortable? Katie says, hey, we're going on Fox and Friends, a national platform, to plead. We are pleading with the public. Please help us find our beloved Sebastian. Here is what he looks like. But is it really? Is this really what Sebastian looks like? All right, this is going to take me a second to get my, all right. Okay. Well, so this is actually what Sebastian looks like. What do you guys think about that? Like how close is he to looking like the two photographs that they gave to Fox and Friends to spread across the entire United States looking for this young man? How do they compare in appearance? Oh, let me see. Raven now when some are acting tough. Yeah, he doesn't, Tommy. 100%. This boy in this picture, he is definitely been through puberty, or at the very least, he's in the midst of that dramatic change. So I played with these photos just a bit. Let me go back to, okay, so this photo in black and white, I wanted to be able to show you his neck, how thick his neck has become. Look at how wide his chin is. I mean, that is a solid jaw, right? The bone there making up his chin, that is not the chin of the little boy. Let me show you what I mean. You see what I'm talking about? This is a child. This is a little kid here. Look at this one. He's a little fella. Elementary school. These are the photos that they gave. This one is the snake, right? That Christopher Proudfoot terrorized him with by giving his beloved snake away? Why? Because he needed help. He needed help taking care of the snake, feeding the snake. He needed your help, Christopher Proudfoot, jackass. This picture, oops, sorry about that. This picture, my understanding is this one came from Seth. And definitely more in line with his current age, correct? Not this nonsense. This is unforgivable. It's unforgivable that she did this. And my heart is broken for Seth Rogers that he's having to deal with these people, this nonsense, when he's looking for his child. Okay, so that was it. That's the only pictures that they gave, right? Including law enforcement. Notice these have the TBI sticker on them. Notice that. All right. Now, I want to show you these photos. Oh, I got to go to my Camtasia. I love Camtasia. All right. So I want to go here, and I wanted to show the black and white one first because it was easy to discern not only the size of his neck and his jaw, like you can actually see through his chin and his jaw, how much he's matured. But do you notice that he has an Adam's apple? He has an Adam's apple, people. All right. Here is a side view. Now I have a question for you. If you are TBI, why can't you do this? Why can't you guys, you look at those photographs that Katie and Christopher Proudfoot provided to you, and you go, wow, that kid is 15? Really? Are you sure? Oh, yes. He has a chromosomal disorder. He's tiny and small for his age. So you guys, Sheriff Craddock, you guys have the nation looking for a little elementary school kid. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, this is what Sebastian actually looks like. Look, the reason I did this picture, now I know that it's very difficult to see, that it's very, very white. It's fuzzy. I get that. But what I was trying to get you to see, to be able to discern, was trying to get you to see where his edge of his shoulder is and his arm. You see it? Let me make sure you guys can see what I'm talking about. All right. Yes, you can see it. Look at how wide his shoulders are. Not the little blonde-headed boy that they showed on the website, the Fox and Friends, Fox News website, but that they also ran as the picture of Sebastian, that they were so desperately pleading for the help of the American people. And no law enforcement feels uncomfortable with this. It is worrying because, in my opinion, it's my own opinion only. Everybody may have a different idea, and I respect that. But for my thoughts, the only reason that I can think of that a person would put out photographs of a kid that was clearly no longer what your child looks like at all, the only reason would be because you wouldn't want them looking for the right kid. Right? I think so too, Alessia. And his hair, yes, Lodge Maiden. His hair is actually like kind of like a strawberry blonde or light brown with some auburn highlights, right? It's a little bit on the red side. It's brown with a little bit of red on it. Absolutely. That blonde hair is from when he was little. He was in elementary school. Your hair darkens as you age, right? Because she's searching everywhere. And she's pleading, crafting and true crime. She's pleading for the help of the nation to find her child. Oh, okay. Well, you could have done a little bit better with the photographs that you're providing, Katie. And it is shocking that you and Christopher, you really believed no one would notice this? You thought that you'd just get away with putting photos up there of your child when he was 10, 11, 12 years old, when in fact you're looking for a kid that's 15, 16 years old. He's as tall as you are. You thought no one was going to notice? And the next part of it is, as shocking as this is, why doesn't law enforcement care? Why don't they care? Now here we are. We're January the 15th, right? We're almost at 11 months, right? February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January. 11 months. Nearly 1 year. And now we have Christopher Proudfoot's half-sister is dead, who just so happened to be in the Texas Roadhouse video, behaving strangely odd, who had a face-to-face peculiar interaction with Katie literal hours before this 15-year-old teenager went missing. What? Excuse me? And then we find out she died in November? And yet Christopher Proudfoot is walking free. No questions asked. Isn't that right, Sheriff Craddock? Sheriff Craddock, I think it's about time for people to start asking questions about how it was that the real sheriff died. How did that happen exactly? It's a little bit strange for somebody to hit their head on a wooden floor, Sheriff Craddock, and sustain injuries so extensive that they actually die. That's weird. It wouldn't be weird if the floor was marble, but it wasn't, was it? It was wooden. It was a log cabin, and nobody was there but the sheriff. Or was someone else there, Sheriff Craddock? Just curious. A ridiculous story. So many ridiculous stories surrounding this perfectly delightful young man. And law enforcement doesn't seem to be able to pay attention to any of this. We have SF Investigates on the scene who has turned this thing into a 3-ring circus. It is, I can't understand. I cannot understand, because it's so blatantly in your face that something really horrible happened. And for some reason, Sheriff Craddock seems to be happy to look the other way as Christopher and Katie Proudfoot confuse people who are trying to find their son. You know what, Sheriff Craddock? If you had nothing else at all, these photographs that were provided to Fox and Friends with the very heartfelt just plea to the nation, please help me find my boy. Here's his picture. Help me. Problem is, Sheriff, she gave him photos that didn't look anything like Sebastian. And where are you, Craddock? Where are you at? Where are your detectives? Who in the hell is investigating this case when you have half-sisters that are dying? Oh, yeah. And she showed up on the Texas Roadhouse camera. She may have been the last person other than a family member to see Sebastian alive. That's called proof of life. It's really something. It's the Twilight Zone. We're in the damn Twilight Zone, y'all. That's the other thing. Yes. She took took photographs that night. Hold on. She took photos that night. Let me go ahead and go through these. Here you can see the Adam's apple here. You see it a little bit better there because I got a higher contrast. You see the light there. So you look at these pictures. This kid is who they're looking for. Whoops. Oh, I got to take that off. Come on. Cut. All right. You see these photos. And this was just, you look at how wide his shoulders are here. You see these photos, and yet this is the photo that she wants the nation to use as they're looking for her baby. That's her baby. Man, Katie, you look bad, girl. This looks so bad. You may find yourself in prison. You may find yourself in prison, Katie. This is, and anyone who tries to look at this and say, oh, no, she didn't do anything wrong. Those pictures are an exact match for what Sebastian looks like now. Are you sure? And I got news for all of you YouTubers out there that are covering this case, and you are sitting squarely on the virtue signaling, standing in defense of Christopher and Katie Proudfoot. Please look at this and explain this to me. Please. You believe that this kid, you think that her photographs that she provided were an accurate representation of her child today? Are you sure? Because we're clearly not seeing the same picture. When I'm looking at this, I'm feeling disgusted by this woman. And I'm feeling terribly sad for this young man. Really sad for him. That not only was he, look how far over I've got to put his picture to get his shoulder in the picture. From the edge of the top of his shoulder here, all the way over to his neck. Look at that. It's amazing. And yet it's being done with complete hubris. Look at this. Look at the young man who is the teenager that is missing. And look at the little fella, cute as a button. What do you think? I really make sense of this for me, please. And I feel like this should be given to Fox and Friends. I feel like this story, this video, we should be giving it to Fox and Friends or to Fox News on Twitter. Everybody just go over and post the link to this video and let them see they featured this man and woman on their channel looking for their son, but look at what they're doing. They're lied to the nation. What do you guys think of that? Sincerely. His face and his shoulders way more broad and looks older than the pictures that Katie gave out. It's unbelievable. It is so surreal. His face was really filled out. It's so obvious. Getting all these notifications. GH died and is CP's half sister. I know, Morgan. I saw it right before I went live, and I'm incredulous. November the 18th, she died. I wonder too if Sebastian saw Christopher Proudfoot abusing Katie and he tried to protect his mom. I wondered that. Did you hear Christopher Proudfoot laugh, like this sinister, creepy bullshit laugh, when the question was asked, did Sebastian ever try to get in between y'all and stop you from fighting? And Proudfoot was like, what, me? No. I mean, you could hear him almost saying, I'd have knocked him on his ass. You can almost hear that, right? The tone that he has. She did take it, Tommy Larson. She did take the photo at the restaurant. She claimed that it was a picture of the food. You want to know why she was taking a picture of his food? To send the picture to Mr. Chris, sir. And then after she took the picture, he just starts eating super fast. Like he's trying to hurrying up to try to eat all of the food before he gets in trouble. It's so bizarre. Christopher Proudfoot, you are a creepy, bizarre jerk. Creepy ass. Creepy. Weird as hell. That kid is not your boy. It's none of your business what that kid. You were ordered away from him. The reason you weren't staying at your house, the reason you hadn't been there from February the 2nd is because you had orders to stay away from him. The courts were trying to protect him. Okay, in my opinion, that's all my opinion. Jackass. One day, Christopher Proudfoot, there's always somebody bigger and meaner and more psychotic than you. And one day you will meet your match, buddy. One day. And Sebastian will be avenged for what you've done to him and his mom. Yeah, I got a little triggered there. Sorry about that, people. Man, I hate abuse. People should not be terrorized, you know? All right, so let me clear all this out. And I will play my video. Let's see if there was anything else I wanted to show. I don't think so. I think that was everything. All right, let me get these out of our way. Give me time to do a little diaphragmatic breathing and chill the hell out, right? Ugh, the idea of mistreating a 15-year-old kid on the spectrum, I'm just incensed. I'm incensed that the cops don't seem to recognize what these people are doing. It's bad. It's really bad. All right, let me move that and put one more, cut that out. Let's see. Look at him smiling at the waitress. He deserved to be protected. He deserved it. It was his right as a human being to be protected from a psychopath. It was his right as a human being to be protected. And never have I been more certain than when I saw the photographs that they gave to Fox and Friends, because there is simply no other explanation for why they would have done that. None. And I'm sorry to Sebastian that he was not protected. It's hard. The thought of her taking those photographs to send to Mr. Chris. I don't know, Mr. Chris. Maybe one day somebody will take their belt off and come at you. All right. So I want to go. These, of course, are the videos that we've all seen. Texas Roadhouse. So let me get through that. I mean, look at this guy compared to those photos she gave to Texas Roadhouse. It's just incredible. Yeah, hold on. I'll get there. Hang on.
Sebastian called.
Well, what did I do? I lost my Fox and Friends. Oh, here it is right here. All right, so here's Fox and Friends. And I think I took the sound off of it. No, I didn't.
So this morning, the search for a missing autistic teen gone for more than a month now. Growing more frantic, 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers has not been seen since he left his Tennessee bedroom barefoot with a flashlight. Joining us now, Sebastian's parents, Katie and Chris Proudfoot.
Okay, first of all, Fox and Friends, you got that wrong. Christopher Proudfoot is not Sebastian's parent. That is Sebastian's tormentor, in my opinion. And the father of Sebastian is Seth Rogers. So what you should have had on Fox and Friends, you should have had Katie and Seth Rogers. That's who should have been questioned about Sebastian going missing, not this jackass. So just want to put that out there. I think it is very interesting that Katie seems to have some abrasions and contusions. Look at that. What happened to you, Katie? What went wrong, girl? Because somebody whooped upside your head. Or you fell and hit your head on a wooden floor in a rented cabin at a sheriff's convention. Is that what happened? Because you're a mess. Notice the big bruise on her forehead. It's a goose egg. It's actually swollen. She looks like she has a black eye here on this eye, the left eye. She looks swollen. Her whole cheek here looks swollen. Look how full this is compared to this side. Can y'all see it? And she looks like she has a bruise, a little bit of swelling on her chin. What do you guys think? Am I out of line there, or do you see it? 5 CPS reports, 5 wives, 2 CPS reports in New Mexico. Do you see it? The Dutton Ranch would give CP a one-way ticket to the train station, hypothetically speaking, satire. Thank you for a little levity, Lodge Maiden. I kind of lost my temper a bit. Yeah, she's been through it. Somebody put a whooping on her. Yep, somebody put a whipping on her. And I find it, her expression, she's completely shut down, isn't she? She's completely dissociated, just her emotions, she's just numb. She's just cut off. All right. So let me go to, I wanted to see if I could zoom it a little bit more. There we go. All right, so there, I mean, her face, she looks pretty bad. Let me go to visual, colorize. Let me try the red. The red sometimes works better. Yeah, that you can see it a little bit better there. Just wait, just hang on. I'll be finished. There we go. Now you can see it. And then I should have, well, where's my just hang with me just a second. Boy, can you see where the bump is, the swelling on the right side of the bruise? See it? And I know a lot of people go, "Oh, you're manipulating the picture. It's not real." Yes, it is. I'm just accentuating shadows and such. So you see how the bruise is here, it's dark, but it looks extra white on the side. That's the swelling. And there's swelling up toward the hairline as well. I mean, she took a whooping. Look right here. Another bruise. Man. And this side over here, it's hard to see it because there's so much white there. All right. Let me see if this will help. A little bit. Okay. Now you can compare. You see how swollen her cheek is up here by her eye where all that damage is? It looks like it looks like the plane of her face that she's got like super high cheekbones that cut like straight down and left to her jawbone. But she doesn't have high cheekbones like that. Her cheekbones are down like in the middle of her nose where they're supposed to be, right? But notice how her face is rounded. The natural contour without the damage, the face is rounded. She took a big hit on the left side of her face. You see that? You can see that swelling now? Let me see if I can get it to pick it up a little bit better. Yeah, there you go. You see how right beside her eye, it's really big? On the other side, it kind of goes in at her eye, and then her cheek is bigger going down toward her neck. Look at it. Look at that swelling right there. She took a big hit. I feel sorry for her. And I know you guys are like, are you crazy? Why would you feel sorry for her? Well, because we all know what happens to her. We all know why she sits quietly, don't we? Let's be honest. We know what he's doing. Look at that. You can really see the bruise in there. So I just wondered, if that's why they didn't post the actual interview online, because it was such a train wreck. Man, such a mess. She does not have that big of a black eye. There's a little bit of a black eye. It's just her lid's kind of blue. She definitely swollen around her orbital socket. She's got the big goose egg here. There's also swelling up by her hairline. I really think she's naturally, her cheeks are a little full down low, and that maybe it just looks distorted because she's got so much swelling around her eye and her forehead. She definitely took a blow. Like, there's no doubt that she definitely took a blow. All right, so I'm gonna let this play. Let me get it back to the right size so you can see it, because I was way zoomed in. Told y'all I was way zoomed in. Okay, I need to turn all this editing off too. Hold on.
Gone for more than a month now. Growing more frantic, 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers has not been seen since he left his Tennessee bedroom, barefoot with a flashlight. Joining us now, Sebastian's parents, Katie and Chris Proudfoot. Katie and Chris, thanks so much for joining the program this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us. So, Ms. Proudfoot, you put him to bed. You heard some noises in there. You told him to knock it off. You got up the next morning, and you haven't seen him since. Where do you think your son is right now?
Honestly, we're not. Know where he is, but now we haven't found any substantial evidence to locate where he's been or where he went. That's why we're pleading for help for anyone out there that might know something or see something.
Oh, you're not seeing that, are you? I don't know why it did that. Hold on, I'll add it back in.
Running away from home anytime before?
he didn't have a history of running.
Mr. Prophet, you're about, I think, 3 hours away. And then you got.
Sorry about that, everybody. Let me make sure you can see it now. Yes, you can. It doesn't seem like it is. Okay, we're not watching that, are we? Here we go. This is what we're looking for. I'm so sorry, y'all. All right, here we go.
This autistic teen gone for more than a month now, growing more frantic. 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers has not been seen since he left his Tennessee bedroom, barefoot with a flashlight. Joining us now, Sebastian's parents.
The audio is terrible.
Katie and Chris, thanks so much for joining the program this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us. So, Ms. Crawford, you put him to bed. You heard some noises in there. You told him to knock it off. You got up the next morning, and you haven't seen him since. Where do you think your son is right now?
Honestly, we don't know where he is. But now we haven't found any substantial evidence to locate where he's been or where he went. That's why we're pleading for help for anyone out there that might know something or see something that could help us find him.
Ms. Crawford, was Sebastian a runner? Did he have a history of running away from school or running away from home anytime before?
No, he didn't have a history of running.
Mr. Crawford, you're about...
Okay, so this was a month after Sebastian went missing, correct? No, he didn't run. No, he didn't go away. Now, all of a sudden, SF Investigates comes on the scene. Now, what are they saying? Oh, we've just learned that Sebastian has been cocooning. Sebastian has been running away and hiding. You know what, SF Investigates? You can go to hell. You can go straight to hell because you're a big fat liar.
I think 3 hours away. And then you got the call about what happened and you made your way home. You've agreed to a polygraph. You have been ruled as a suspect. What do you make of some of the criticism of some people online, some critics saying that they think that you're involved?
It's their personal opinion. It's sad that people have resulted to this kind of rhetoric and verbiage and harassment, but you know, at the end of the day, it's their opinion, but the truth will come out, and then when it does, everybody will finally have their answers.
Everyone will highly have their answers. What's the problem, Christopher? You've suddenly lost the ability to use the English language because now you're lying to 300 million people. The time will come. It's coming.
Ms. Crawford, did your son Sebastian have any friends that you think, did he have a cell phone? Had he made any type of contact?
Not that we know of.
Ms. Crawford, you did this.
Look at this photograph. Look at the photograph that she gave to Fox and Friends. Do you guys see this? Do you see this photo? The night that Sebastian went missing, he was about 2 inches from being her exact height. They are very nearly the same size. She, of course, Katie, you got some extra weight that Sebastian doesn't have because Sebastian wasn't eating, right? You guys weren't letting him eat. But in terms of height, so why okay, I'm going to be nice. I'm just going to take a break. Katie, what the hell is wrong with you? Why did you tell the nation that you are pleading for our help and you provide a photograph of your son that is about 18 to 20 inches too short? Because in this photograph, Katie, he's a baby. And today, in 2025 or 2024, when he went missing, he's a 15-year-old going through puberty. You literally went on a national news platform and lied. You involved them in the cover-up of your crimes. And I'm going to make sure that they know it. I'm going to make sure they see this, because I think this is the story. I think this is the actual story, that two people with a missing 15-year-old on the spectrum, no less, literally had the hubris to go on Fox News and totally commit fraud to the entire nation, Katie. That is the story they're going to tell. And Christopher, they're going to come knocking on your door, buddy. They're going to come knocking on your door and they're going to say, Chris, why would you do that? Why would you go on our channel and lie to all of our viewers?
To leave the home and you went to go see your husband, which I said is about 3 hours away. And some people have said that.
And who the hell are these children? What are these pictures even of, Katie? You're looking for a 15-year-old. Who are these babies?
You know, you have an autistic son who's missing. Why would you leave the home?
Not why would they leave the home, sir. Ask them why the hell they gave you photographs of third graders.
Give us some insight on why.
There are a few reasons. We are posting flyers every direction we can, but at the same time, there were quite a bit of people that were, sending some very threatening and hateful messages to us.
Hatefulness. We are the ones with the problem, people. We are the ones with the problem, not the two assholes that show up with photographs of a 12-year-old when it's actually a 15-year-old that's gone missing. We are the ones with the problem, not these two clowns. Hey, you know what, Katie? I'm all about having to deal with abusive assholes that beat the shit out of you. I get it. I've seen it. I understand it. You know what? I can put you in touch with organizations that will protect you and hide you from this jerk. But you got to be honest about what happened to your kid.
The neighborhood is very upset, concerned, and people.
The neighborhood was not upset, Katie. It's another lie you're telling. You're telling this lie. You're creating a narrative that's a work of fiction. You're doing this presentation to the entire nation. You're saying, oh, people were threatening us and they turned our neighborhood into a circus and we had to run in fear of our lives. No, the neighbors were not angry. They weren't upset. They were terrified for your boy. That's all that was wrong with the neighbors. They are really, really frightened that Sebastian isn't home.
We're worried about their safety at this point. So one of the reasons that I did that is in the hopes that if we left for a couple of days that it might calm that down and give her.
Oh, she's a hero. She's being a hero, guys. She was protecting the neighborhood. She's so selfless that she's willing to leave her home, even though her poor little baby boy in the Dr. Seuss costume might come walking home any day and say, "Where's my mommy? I came home and my mommy's gone." I know, honey, but your mom was so loving and giving. She wanted to help all the neighbors not have traffic in their neighborhood. So she drove 3.5 hours away, not giving a damn that you might come home unexpectedly. Sorry, Katie, you're not a hero, girl. You are no hero. You didn't give a shit about your neighbors. You didn't give a damn about that neighborhood. And you certainly don't care about finding Sebastian, or you would not have used these photographs on a national platform to find your baby. And when Aiden Lore Lodge invited you guys onto his platform with 600,000 subscribers, you would have jumped at that opportunity, bringing with you current contemporary photographs that actually look like Sebastian as a 15-year-old. And I got a question, Christopher Proudfoot. Why do people keep dying around you?
A quick follow-up, Mr. Proudfoot. His biological father has said that he doesn't believe that he would have been barefoot because of the traumatic experience that he had stepping in a pile of ants. But you think he left barefoot? Why are you so confident that he didn't have any shoes on or anything like that?
Because all of his shoes
have been accounted for.
It's such a clown move. You just can laugh, right? Katie starts to answer and he just jumps out like, "Oh, wait a minute. I'm not getting any attention. I need some attention. I'm the stepdaddy. I need some attention, please, sir." And then you know what this genius goes on to say? He says, "Oh, well, all of Sebastian's shoes have been accounted for." And then you know what he says? Because he's such a smart person. He says, "Oh, and my shoes have been accounted for too. My shoes have been accounted for." The stand-up comedy routine that could be built around this man would be worth a $50 ticket to go watch. Excuse me, sir, have you guys taken polygraphs? Yes, and passed. Yep, and passed. All cleared. We're all cleared. Every last one of us. You're a walking meme, Christopher Proudfoot. You want to present this fearsome presentation that you're such a little tough guy. You know what I mean? Nobody's going to be afraid of you except the people that are pummeled by your fist. But those of us that aren't within reach of your fist, you're just this caricature of what a real man would be like. You're not demonstrating protection. You're not demonstrating warmth. You're not demonstrating commitment and love and honor and dignity. You're not, your wife sits there. Your wife sits there like she's waiting for permission to answer. She's waiting for Mr. Crisser to give the sign that it's okay for her to take a breath. And if you decide that you want to answer, that you don't want her to answer, then she quickly goes meek and just shuts down.
Experience that he had stepping in a pile of ants. But you think
keep an eye on Katie.
He left barefoot. Why are you so confident that he didn't have any shoes on or anything like
Watch
that?
Katie.
Because all of his
shoes have been accounted for.
see her shake her head yes? You son of a bitch. You son of a bitch. Watch her body language.
That he would have been barefoot because of the traumatic experience that he had stepping in a pile of ants. But you think he left barefoot? Why are you so confident that he didn't have any shoes on or anything like that?
Watch.
Because all of his
shoes have been accounted for. As far as now, all of our shoes have been accounted for, mine and my wife's at this point. So, I mean, there is no other answer as to what he would have been wearing at this point. Yeah.
Jesus. Incredible. Honestly, Christopher Proudfoot, you are. And the rest of you, Cletus and Cluminati, Stephen Crabtree, what are you guys doing? I mean, SF Investigates is making cash. A lot of it, $700 an hour. What of that, Stephen Crabtree? Is old Chrissy Wissy, is he paying you? Are you getting any money for being his talking head? For being his supporter? A family member? Anything like that? Are you getting any remuneration? Because SF Investigates is. And boy, you guys worship him, don't you? Anything he says, you guys lap it up like a little lap dog. If SF starts talking, you're like, oh, yeah. He's so brilliant. He's so brilliant. He's so smart. Have you ever stopped to ask yourselves if he's, decent, ethical? Does he have any morals? How does a man go from taking professional photographs of little girls to being a private investigator? How's that happen? But none of you ask those questions, do you? None of you ask those questions. You've all fallen in line. Big question is why? Who's getting protected? Why would you put your own necks on the line for Christopher Proudfoot?
His biological father has said that he doesn't believe that he would have been barefoot because of the traumatic experience that he had stepping in a pile of ants. But you think he left barefoot? Why are you so confident that he didn't have any shoes on or anything like that?
Because all of his
shoes have been accounted for.
So sad to watch. Y'all bear with me 1 second. Hang on just a second.
Because all of his
shoes have been accounted for.
I mean, it looks like he says exactly what she's about to say. Watch her lips. It looks like she was fixing to say accounted for, like they have a script. Watch her lips. It looks like they're saying the exact words when he breaks in and interrupts her. Oh, I didn't go back. Sorry.
Left barefoot. Why are you so confident that he didn't have any shoes on or anything like that?
Because all of his
shoes have been accounted for.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's amazing.
As far as now, all of our shoes have been accounted for. Mine and
my shoes have been accounted for. Why are you going to leave out my shoes? I can't. I'm important too.
Wife's at this point, so I mean, there is no other answer as to what he would have been wearing at this point.
Hey, come over here and let me tell you what happened. I got a question, Chris asks. How is it that you don't seem to be capable of letting Katie speak? Because you seem to forget you weren't even there that night. Isn't that weird? It's so weird how you weren't there, but you seem to know all the answers. Why don't you shut up? Why don't you let your wife talk? Why doesn't she go on the interviews without you there? Why is that? Why Why do you talk as if you know what happened? You and Barry Morphew, two peas in a pod. I think it'd be absolutely a hoot if your trial and Barry Morphew's trial was happening at the same time. That would be a hoot. Just, in a hypothetical, world where nobody really knows what happened to Sebastian. But, hypothetically, if there was going to be a trial someday, but I got suspicions. I have suspicions about people that would go on Fox and Friends with what are basically fraudulent photos looking for their child. We're here to beg you. We beseech you. Help us find our little one, our wee lost little lamb. And then you show photographs of Sebastian when he was 12 years old. Problem is, he's now as tall as you are, Katie, and he's gone through puberty. So that those baby pictures, nobody even knows who they're looking for. You intentionally misled not only we the people, you misled Fox and Friends, Fox News. You didn't even care that you were lying. You didn't even care that you were misleading them. And so I have a suspicion. I think that people that would be willing to do that would have the balls to go on a channel like that and put out basically fraudulent information, you would never go to trial. If the grand jury did, in a hypothetical world, bring down indictments against you two, you guys would never, ever, ever have the courage to go to trial. You guys would take a plea deal. True. I believe that. It takes courage to go to trial. You guys don't have it. You're weenies. You're liars.
Thank y'all so much for joining us on the program. Our number one concern is to get Sebastian home back to y'all.
And look at his face. I want you guys to take a good long look at his face. Does this man look like he believes Katie and Chris? Does he look like he believes it, or does he look like he is in disbelief? Rockin' Rhonda, I love your name. This interview was done March the 28th, less than 1 month after Sebastian went missing. That's right. And the photographs they gave were of Sebastian when he was a blonde-headed little elementary school kid. They did not provide a single photograph of Sebastian as a 15-year-old. Oh, Lolo, so much weight. That's a lot. That's a lot of drinking in 3 months to gain that kind of weight, right? Yeah. Yep. No, he knows they're lying. Look at his face. He's disgusted. He is disgusted. And I think that perhaps that's why it didn't air, but just the one time. So you can't find the video. I haven't been able to find the video other than a recording that someone took with their phone. All that beer, right, Brown Eye? I like beer. It makes me a jolly good fellow. I like beer. Donna Burns, Katie is going to be blamed. No, grieving, Moxie. Moxie, this is less than 30 days after the young man went missing. Less than 30 days. And look at this. It's shocking. Katie, if you are watching, you better turn on him now. Chris will turn on you, guaranteed. You know, Lolo, Katie, girlfriend, because we know you're watching this. You better listen to Lolo. This is sort of what we do. In fact, you know, here's a true story. I went to the Barry Morphew had a wife, beautiful woman, survived cancer twice, and she went missing. And he set up the scene to make it look like someone abducted her or a mountain lion got her off of her bicycle, right in the middle of nowhere. And everybody knew it was just bullshit, that his mannerisms, the way he acted, the things that he said and did, everybody knew it was all a lie. And there was, it was clear that there was trouble and she wanted out of the marriage, right? So when they did the preliminary hearing, I went to Colorado to watch the preliminary hearing, and literally the FBI agent said that Barry, when being interviewed, he started talking about what he heard the people in the true crime community on YouTube, what they were saying, and that's why he was doing some of the things that he was doing. You know what, Katie? You're all watching this crap. You all do. When y'all go out, you make a mistake, you find yourself hypothetically in hot water, you're turning to the true crime channels that are talking about your missing loved one. Oh, yeah. And by the way, Suzanne Morphew was found 2 years later, buried in a shallow grave an hour south of Barry's house. It's kind of shocking, isn't it? I sort of think that's going to be what ends up happening with Sebastian. For Seth's sake, I hope it's not. But you and Chris already have that answer, don't you? But we know you guys are watching this. We know you are. So here's a bit of advice from people in the true crime community that literally know what they are talking about. And we're honest people. We're not like SF. We're actually honest. The person who tells the truth first, Katie, they get the better deal. If you hold out and think, no, I'll just be tough and then I'll be the one person that manages to go free, you'll be the one who ends up getting life without parole or death penalty. But the one who actually speaks up first and tells the truth, they usually get, 10, 15 years, and then they'll get time off for good behavior. You actually have a relatively good chance of getting out and still being young enough to have a life, have a career, and all that. But go ahead and hang on and trust Chris Proudfoot. Go ahead and take a chance and see if he's trustworthy. Go ahead. See how that works out for you. You might ask Katie Magbanoa how it worked out for her. See how that worked out for her. She's spending life in prison, no chance of parole, because she was just sure that she was going to get a not guilty. Unbelievable. And the one who actually ordered the hit, Wendy Adelson, she's walking free because when the cops showed up, she sang like a bird, Katie. Wendy Adelson told everything. She even said, you need to talk to my brother. My brother's the one you need to talk to. My brother. He's the one. He did it. You better go talk to him. My brother. Poor old brother didn't have any idea what was going on. There's an innocent man who got convicted. But the one who really done it, the only one that benefited from the death of Dan Markel, she had served a single day because she was singing like a bird, Katie. You better take guidance. You better take guidance who know what they're talking about, girl. You better get to talking. Telling you, Christopher Proudfoot is not the sword you want to die on. It's as soon as Chris Proudfoot realizes it's coming, the grand jury has handed down an indictment. It's just about time. He is going to roll over on you, and it is going to be rough. All right. Enough said. In a hypothetical world, not real, of course, just coming from the imaginations and machinations of my fictional story writing, a day of wild speculation. All right. Ask Nina. Well, you don't have to ask Nina, do you, Katie? You don't have to ask Nina because you were there at the airport, weren't you? You actually worked with Christopher Proudfoot to torment that woman. Well, I ask you something, Katie. What kind of woman sides with an abuser to torment another woman, a nursing mother, when her infant baby is being stolen from her, literally stolen from her while she's breastfeeding. What kind of woman does that? Like that is the most obnoxious, gross image in my head, that a woman would not stand in defense and protection of another woman. It's just incredible that if I, sincerely thinking about it, if my husband had said, hey, we're going to go to my husband doesn't have an ex-wife, but just hypothetically, hey, we're going to go and we're going to legally kidnap my ex-wife's infant baby who is breastfeeding. We're gonna concoct a big plan. We're gonna manipulate the courts, and we are gonna steal this baby because my mommy wants to raise her because she's a pretty little girl. If she was an ugly baby, mama boom boom, she wouldn't have wanted Faith. But because Faith was beautiful like her mother, Mama Boom Boom thought, oh, wouldn't that be great if I could raise Faith? And then everybody would tell me how beautiful and cute she is. And I could get so much yummy narcissistic supply from being the Mama Boom Boom to baby Faith. That's the only reason that woman wanted to raise that baby, in my opinion, is she just wanted to get some narcissistic supply by being the caretaker to Faith, an infant. But had my husband suggested such a thing, I know exactly what my answer would have been, Katie. I would have looked at him and I would have said to him, you are evil from the deepest depth of the pits of hell. And not only am I divorcing you, but I am going to move next door to your ex-wife so that together we can protect that baby from your evil ass. But you didn't really have that kind of character, did you? You did one step worse. Instead of standing in defense, trying to protect Faith from Chris, you helped him. You literally helped. You gaslighted. You tried to make people convinced that Nina was crazy. No, Nina was in horror. She was in terror that her infant was being stripped away and she would have no way to protect that baby. You did that, Katie. So I don't know, maybe whatever you get, and I don't know, maybe it's well earned, maybe it's, I don't know. It's disgusting. It doesn't have to be this way, Katie. You can choose a different way. People will help you. Law enforcement will help you. But you have to have the courage to speak up. Just thinking about the inconsistent statements, wondering why Katie didn't say she was studying again after Nancy Grace. She did not. That was, I was thinking about this. Why did they go on all of these YouTube podcast channels? Why did they do that? They didn't choose the big ones like Aiden Mattis, Lore Lodge. They didn't choose the large channels that had substance that could help them get Sebastian's photograph out, get his story out, legitimately work to find him. They went on these little small drama channels, right? Well, now we know why he went all the time on Cluminati's channel, because they're family, right? That they've got family connections. So we get that. I think it's disgusting because basically, they're allowing Cluminati to benefit financially from the disappearance of, her niece or nephew, or I guess it's technically cousin. So that's kind of gross and disgusting. But why did she go on Smiley's channel? Like, why did they choose Smiley? I do think it was a very wise thing to go on Web Sleuths. That is a very, very well-respected channel. Trish runs her channel. It is a top notch, no drama nonsense. So I get that. That was a good choice, but all the other choices were nonsense. And do you remember how Don Wells and Candace, remember how they did that thing where they faked Don getting arrested? And we could hear Candace like wailing like she was in pain. Remember? Oh, she was so scared. All of that was an act. It didn't really happen. And then we find out Christopher Proudfoot did exactly the same thing, y'all. He went on Cluminati's channel. Cluminati's a family member. He went on Cluminati's channel. He pretended to be some like redneck, country, uneducated hill person, right? And he just acted like a moron. Like it wasn't even funny. I don't know why he thought he was being funny. It was just pathetic and pitiful. But he did it. It was so bizarre. Everybody was in disbelief. Like it's like, wait a minute. Why are you doing this when there is a missing kid? What are you doing? Are you crazy? Like, are you sincerely insane? It was very odd. It was so strange. So how many of you guys actually heard that? Did you guys see that when it happened? Let me do it this way so I can kind of get a handle. Did you guys hear the phone call where Christopher Proudfoot pretended to be someone else on Cluminati's channel? If you did, put a 1. If you did not, put a 2. Yes, very true, Mama Mo. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I don't know why anybody would believe that person, but she does. Okay, so we got lots of 1s. Okay, but we also have a lot of people that have not. Hey, Sagittarius. Kimmy, welcome. Donna Burns, my friend. I'm a bear. Paul Boone, Frank, Amber. Okay, so Aiden's lodge maiden heard it. Stefan heard it. Okay. No, I can't with this drama. Thank you, Jules, for reporting it. Staged, empathetic. Yeah, it was so odd listening to this phone call. It was very odd. So I've got it all like saved on my external hard drive. I'll have to go through and find it, but I'll see. It may take me a little while to find it, but I'll try to play it, okay? Because it was really, really, it was surreal. Like in your mind, you were thinking, is he really doing this? Like, really? But then on the other hand, you would think, no, maybe it's not him. Maybe it just seems like it might be. And then before the phone call was over, he was back to talking in his normal voice, and it was clear it was him. Like there was no doubt. So yeah, maybe he was drinking, right? He has done quite a few interviews where he was drunk. And I think I only know of one interview where Katie was talking where she too sounds really intoxicated. That was surreal too. Oh my God, they're all so strange in their own way. Yeah, that was a weird night too. Forgot about that. There's a lot that's uncomfortable about this case, isn't it? It's really sad. Okay. I know. I need to stop lamenting because we all do feel horrible about Sebastian. And I just, just like with Suzanne, I don't mind admitting this. Let me say this for a moment while I get my next thing put up. Okay. What is that? Okay. That's what I'm looking for. But where's the page? Oh, okay. So this is Mob Crew. I'm not doing Mob Crew right now. I need this one. Yes. Okay. So, trying to look for the next video that I'm going to be playing. Now, I'm fixing to play something that is going to make your blood boil. And I have a reason for playing it, but I have to give a trigger warning. And I'm going to give a harsh trigger warning, okay? Like, please don't test me and say, oh, it can't be this bad. Okay, I'm telling you that if you are triggered by child abuse, harsh spankings, things like that, this is going to be not healthy for you to listen to. Okay, so I'm telling you right now. So I'm going to use this as an example. I have two reasons for this. One is I want to know, do you hear similarities between this man and Christopher Proudfoot in terms of attitude, the approach to children and wives and family members? Okay. The other is I want to be very clear that because those of us that are we are not abusive, we're not violent, right? Like my kids, no spanking, no hitting, and I don't have criminal children, you know what I mean? And my kids are very artistic, and they're very intelligent, and they have personalities. And when you beat a child, when you use corporal punishment to control their behavior, you're breaking their spirit, and you're creating someone who lives in fear, and they have a very difficult time working from a position of strength and confidence. And so they will often, resort to violence and aggression themselves when they become adults. So this man is actually a preacher, what you're about to listen to. This is actually a preacher. And he started and maintained a residential facility for girls. I mean, this is horrifying. A residential facility for girls, trying to whip those, wild girls into shape, because it's time to man up. Ain't that right, Christopher? Got to man up. Got to raise up your kids with spare the rod, spoil the child. Ain't that right, Christopher? So thankfully in 2020, this residential facility, prison, house of horrors was shut down, thank God. But I want you to listen to this preacher who has a congregation who literally listens to him and believes that he knows what he's talking about, and they follow his teachings. And then I want you to ask yourself, is it possible that Sebastian was being mistreated? People really can do this. Oh, yeah, you got to make a man out of a 3-year-old little boy, Lolo. Yeah, because that's the kind of man Christopher is, right? No, you're a weak little panty ass, Chris. That's what you are. All right. See, I tell you, he makes me the worst version of myself. I am horrified by what I've learned about Christopher Proudfoot. All right, so here we go. Let me see. And again, I'm giving the warning another time. You don't want to listen to this. This is fundamentalist Baptist teachings. This preacher who is a fundamental Baptist, that's not your good old-fashioned, let's all meet down by the river and have a Sunday-covered dinner prayer. These are the fundamentalists, okay? These are the people that, walk around with snakes. These are scary kind of people, okay? This is going to get descriptive, and there's humiliation, and there's laughter. And so you're not going to want to watch this if if this kind of thing has been triggered for you in the past. Okay. So please believe me, please. But come back tomorrow. I'm going to be doing a video that's going to be fun. Okay. We're not going to even think about Christopher and Katie Proudfoot tomorrow. We're going to have some fun. Okay. So I apologize for this, but I just want to make a point here. You can hear that attitude that comes through so clearly through Christopher. Just listen. All right, I'm about to start it. I hope you will leave if this is triggering.
Best that you correct them according to their.
I got to go back a little bit. Sorry about that.
God gives children to parents, not to the welfare system. Now, therefore, mom and dad, I suggest that you correct them according to their emotional age, not according to their chronological age. You might have a child who's 15 years old who's acting like a 3-year-old. And I'm
pretty scary, isn't it? This man is a preacher. He is doing a sermon in front of his congregation, and he runs a house, a residential facility, a religious Christian-based facility for problem children, problem girls, to be exact.
discovered that a good sound thrashing really helps them to mature very quickly, as a matter of fact. It's amazing how they can learn self-control when you apply the right circumstances. Now, it's, all right, I'll follow this. When do I start? All right, now we're getting somewhere. You start when they're a baby. A baby! Put that hymn book down, Pastor. Don't you let them. All right, now just settle down. I love babies, just like you do. In fact, when God brought our babies in, a baby, praise the Lord, a baby. Then you discover real quick what a selfish little beast they are.
What? A baby is a selfish little beast, or are they a baby and completely dependent on the caregiver? This man is terrifying. This man is terrifying.
Doesn't take long. Their first words are not mama and daddy and I love you. Their first words are no. My.
Listen to the congregation laughing and then ask me, are these people going home and abusing their children because this jackass told them to?
That's their first vocabulary. You know, we have this emotional dream that they're going to, I love you, mommy and daddy. That's not what they're going to say. They love themselves. They're selfish little beasts. And so we need to start when they're a baby. Picture this baby. You've got him. He just fed his most favorite food, his most favorite way, his most favorite quantity, his most favorite time of the day. He's been hugged, cuddled, burped, loved. New filter, new powder, new grease. You take him down to his most favorite bed, his most favorite nap time, his most favorite toy. He's down there going, oh boy, he's going to take a nap. I'm going to get some time to myself. So you go tiptoeing down the hallway, you know, and you're about 20 feet away when all of a sudden, ah, my baby! Someone stuck into his bedroom trying to cut his head off. He wouldn't scream like that unless someone's trying to kill him. I'm going to save my baby's life. So you dash down to the end of the hallway, about break your neck going into the bedroom, and he's pulled himself up and says, hi, mommy. Oh, you little liar. No one's trying to kill you. No, I just want you. That's a good when you need to lay his little leg like this and go, quack. Now,
lay his little leg like this and then go, quap. This man is a psychopath. This is horrifying. And it gets worse. He gets like excited as the more he talks like this, it's like he gets excited and he gets more and more horrifying, but he thinks it's funny And the congregation thinks it's funny, but he's literally talking about beating an infant baby. Literally.
Now, it'll look like he's having an epileptic fit and a stroke and heart attack and all these things rolled, but he will survive. Again,
so that's this guy's standard. He's admitting that when he beats on his kids, that they are in abject mortal terror, that they are in physical pain. They're trying to get away from him. And he's laughing, saying, oh, they look like they have epilepsy, but they'll survive. What? Just so that you can get your sick little excitement by beating your baby? That you're okay? That's your standard, that they survive? I don't know how this man escaped jail. I truly don't.
Again, who runs this asylum? It had better not be a little 10, 20, or 30-pound child that runs this house. It had better be mom and daddy. What could you have done in the 1940s or 50s right there in the aisle of the grocery store? Yeah.
Exactly.
Just pull him up out of that thing and pull down his britches and start letting him have it right there in the aisle. Now, while you're doing this, all of a sudden around the other end of the aisle comes your nosy neighbor who doesn't even necessarily like you. What would your nosy neighbor have said in the 1940s or 1950s? Hit him again!
Is this disgusting? It's disgusting, isn't it? It is. I mean, you're listening to the ramblings of a crazy man, right? And yet, it's very consistent what we heard Christopher Proudfoot himself describe in how to raise a kid, how to make sure your kid cleans his room, or how to treat your wife. The man is an abject failure in terms of marital bliss, in terms of raising healthy children, but the humor and the laughter related to aggression against family members, this is the guy. This is who he's like.
Even lost pagan reprobate neighbors had the common sense to know, well, of course children need to be disciplined. Anybody knows that. But not anyone knows that anymore. And now it's a blessed remnant of God's people. But beloved, please, don't do this at Walmart. Don't do this in the grocery store. Don't do this on a parking lot. Please, I'm warning you. You're living in a hostile world. And if especially if you're found out to be a Bible-believing Christian, it's all over for you. You've got to obey this. I'm not saying you've got to obey this, but you'd better be wise. Go down to the South 40 where there's that grove of trees. Or maybe you don't have a South 40. What if you lived in Philadelphia?
He is literally telling them to beat their kid, to cause their kid physical harm, and to make sure they hide it from the police and from the neighbors. This guy reminds me so much of Christopher Proudfoot when he was talking about taking all of Sebastian's things and throwing them in the trash can and then making Sebastian take them out to the curb to be thrown away so that Sebastian would have nothing in his house. Or how he would chuckle and laugh, how he told Sebastian, you got to take care of your snakes or your dogs or your cats. And if you don't, I'm going to give them away. And then he does, and he laughs about it. This is the guy.
You know those row houses out there? You're a 2x4 wall from your neighbor. What do? Well, you need to be a little more creative, a little more imaginative. Lock the door, take the phone off the hook, go down to the coal cellar, turn the stereo up full blast, have groups singing. There's all kinds of things you can do if you just put your heart and mind to it. Because we've got to obey this, but we can't do this in public any longer because we live in a hostile world. All right, well, what do I use? All right.
Is this gaslighting? Sincerely, is this gaslighting that you have a preacher who's saying, beat your children until they're damaged and just make sure you hide it. Nobody sees you doing it so you don't get in trouble because we live in a violent world. What? Wait a minute, insane Ed McMahon look-alike. You are actually advocating violence, not just any violence. You are actually encouraging your congregation to beat their children. But then you say that you're somehow, the victim because there's a violent world that wants to stop you from beating children. Gaslighting at its finest.
Here you use the rod. Now, I've done some very exhaustive. Do you know what a rod is? It's a rod. Very simple. It's like you used to probably stake up your tomato plants, you fellas, you get a dowel rod from the hardware store. That's what it is. Have you ever heard of Grandma's willow switch? Oh, would that get your attention? That's the idea. That's like that rod. It wouldn't do any permanent damage, but boy, would it get the attention of a rebellious young heart. So you use the rod. And now,
yes, pretty bird.
What if my children were naughty? Very naughty. And in fact, I often told if I got spanked like you would, I'd obey. In fact, I'm surprised.
Okay, so now this is the part that really made me think of Christopher Proudfoot. So this psychopath is saying, I beat my children even as infants. He beat them for crying. Don't forget that. If his infant cried, he beat them, which just makes an infant cry more. They don't stop crying. They don't understand that connection, right? They're just crying because they're in pain. But he beat them. And then when they got older, they're bad little kids because they're traumatized and their souls are broken because of him. So he beats them. They are damaged and therefore they're acting out. And so he beats them even harder. And then he gets even more frustrated because he's like, I can't beat you any more than I already beat you. Why aren't you behaving? They're not behaving because you broke their spirit. You destroyed their identity by terrorizing them. It's so similar to what we heard from Nina about Chris Proudfoot, or what his own stories about Sebastian that we were horrified listening to, and yet he was chuckling and laughing as he told the story. This is scary stuff. This is scary stuff when you're talking about having a kid that's gone missing, where there are 7 CPS reports against one guy.
Surprised a couple of them are permanently deformed because all the spankings they had to get.
Oh.
But let's say you got one of your child's really refractory.
That his children are permanently deformed because of all the beatings that they had to get. This man needs to be in prison for life.
And stubborn for a couple-week period. And boy, I mean, you've had to get after him. And now you've got this rainbow bottom. Well, don't despair. He says here, Proverbs 20 and verse 30, the blueness of a wound cleanseth away evil. Some of our children, if you just press their flesh firmly with one finger, they get a bruise. That's how sensitive their flesh is. Other of my children, you could spank them into the next county and they never be bruised. Children are just different in their physiological responses to these things.
No, they're not, asshole. Why do you need to hit a kid? As a grown man, why are you so weak and ineffective that you can't teach a child? You have to brutalize your children, some of which are permanently disfigured. You've admitted that they are because you beat them. And where is your wife, for God's sake? No one stopped you? No one kicked you in the shin and said, get away from these babies? This is, I gotta say this. My God, my church, my preachers, we were taught to love our children. When I went to church, all of my grandparents were avid churchgoers. I was treated with love and affection. I was protected, right? I was taught that going to church and learning the Bible and learning the stories, that those were things that I was protected by a God that loves me. I cannot imagine these poor kids that grew up in this particular church. I bet they hate the notion of God. I bet they completely reject any kind of benefit from religion. How could you? If this is your preacher, it is. I reminded me of Chad Daybell too, right? It's just a monstrous thing. And yet we heard this guy chuckling and laughing, thinking his stories of brutality were so cute and so funny. And we heard Christopher Proudfoot doing the same. Obviously, not to the same level as this guy, but the same kind of sadistic delight that he hurt Sebastian. He hurt Sebastian's feelings. He took away things that helped Sebastian feel grounded and calm. And he thought that was funny. He reveled in the power of being able to throw all of his things away out of his room. Sadistic delight.
So let's say you've got this stubborn refractory spirit for a couple of weeks, and now you've got this rainbow bottom. Well, that's when you need to pray that you not have to see a doctor, or that you see a medical.
A rainbow bottom because of weeks. You had to, quotation marks, you had to beat the child for weeks. And now you have a rainbow bottom and you're terrified the cops are going to show up. There are actually people out there teaching young parents this crap. And yet we heard Christopher Proudfoot laughing and chuckling. I don't want to listen to the rest of it because it gets, bad. So, I mean, that was bad. That was just awful, right? Yeah, I think he was titillated from it. Yeah, KJ, I would agree. He sounded like a sicko for sure. Oh, me too, Amber. Yeah. And that is how, does absolutely Greg Locke? Yes. I would like to see the reaction of people in the audience. They're laughing, Pretty Bird. They're laughing. They're chuckling and laughing. They think it's funny. He's their preacher. They're faithful followers. They think he has a hotline to God. He's just a sick, sadistic psychopath. And no one in the congregation had the courage to stand up and say, you ought to be arrested. I'm going to the sheriff's office right now to report you. No, but not a single one of them did. My grade school principal had a deluxe paddle, 1x6 with a big V big V notch down the center with holes drilled through its length. Of course it left a mark. Absolutely. So I'm so sorry that I don't know why people are such monsters. Yeah, Greg Locke was from that area. Yep, sure was. Yeah, we got to protect. We need to protect children from these monsters. Like I said, there's a part of me that feels really sorry for Katie because I do believe that there's a high chance that she is being controlled, if you know what I mean. And that's sad. It's wrong. It shouldn't be that way. Not for any human at all. It should not be that way. And then, oh gosh, where did those go? Okay, here it is. There are two houses. This is so interesting. So let's see that one. Okay. It's weird. This is very weird. So I'm going to show you this one first. All right. So here is a house in Nashville that was in Christopher Proudfoot's name until March 2024, a month after Sebastian went missing. So I think that is very interesting, right? And I have zero idea what it means. But there it is. Maybe it doesn't mean anything. Maybe it's a rental house. Maybe, I don't know. But there was a lot of talk about the apartment. We know Stephen Crabtree referred to Christopher's apartment. So I was actually looking for an apartment or townhome, something like that, and ended up finding some kind of unusual, well, very unusual property records that are strange. So the next one, though, so that one is very interesting because he had it until March 2024, a month after Sebastian went missing. So I thought that was very interesting. This other one he had until August 2024. Isn't that weird? So it does seem like the one that I just showed you, it's got some weird dates. It seems like the Proudfoots ended up with it in 2020 and they had it up until 2024. But then it doesn't make sense because this next one I'm going to show you, they got it in 2015 and they got rid of it in August of 2024. So the thing that I'm curious about is why did they start dumping property? Like, are these rental houses? Were they living there? I think it's very interesting. And I thought, I wonder if Hong and Nick have kind of taken a look at some curious residential stuff. It's really odd. So here's the one that they got rid of in August. So they had one that they got rid of. So Sebastian went missing February. Less than a month later, they got rid of the one I just showed you. And then 5 months later, they got rid of this one. And I wondered, does that look like Katie's vehicle? Is that, I really don't care. I haven't looked at like their cars and stuff, but is that Katie's? Reverend Donna talks about Sebastian being in an older home or a cabin. Oh, wow. Lawyer Tina Girl says, lawyers aren't free. So you think maybe they were trying to consolidate cash for any upcoming needs they may have. Yeah, I do too, Pretty Bird. Yeah. What did Trooper's mom say? Let's see. Freedom Church, Gallatin, Tennessee is where the Loudfoots and Power Sox attend. You should listen. Today started their 21-day church-wide fast. Are they fundamentalists, Trooper's mom? Wow, Freedom Church. Oh my gosh, we've gone down a rabbit hole. Freedom Church, Gallatin, Tennessee. Oh, you are going to make me go crazy. Sermon archive. Okay, so while we're doing this, watch sermons. Living the best year ever. Let's see what they were preaching on in February 2024. They were preaching on February 6th to the 26th. They were preaching on Adam and Eve. Intriguing, isn't it? And they went from Adam and Eve, they went to spiritually freed. Strange. Buying the lies, conflicted, opposites attract. Really gonna have to listen to this. Thank you for telling me about this. I had no idea, but I'll take a look and see. Thank you, Troopers Mom. Appreciate that. So wow, now that you said that, now I'm even telling you, religion is supposed to be uplifting and empower you. It is not supposed to sanction assault on family. Yeah. Pretty crappy, pretty bird. It's pretty bad. Oh, do they really, Jen? Is that true? Sermons are live on Facebook as well. Wow, we might go. We could end up down a deep rabbit hole, folks. This could end up being big. Yeah. I get very, very nervous with anything fundamentalist. All right. So anyway, this is this house here they got rid of in August. And I didn't know, does that look like her car or that's not? I didn't know. I just thought, I think she had, when the Texas Roadhouse, there's a car, but I couldn't see it. Look, people, the only car I've ever had was a Mustang. I just keep getting iterations of Mustangs, okay? I don't care about, I would not ever drive like a crossover or something. I need something that goes vroom, vroom. Although, to be fair, my son had an Audi and it had some vroom, vroom. So I'd love to see if Reverend Donna could talk to my dad on the other side. I would only trust her. Mama Mo, she has really got something special going on. I have to admit that. And I'm not I would never do like a spirit box and tarot cards. I know some people do believe in that kind of stuff, but I really am not. I mean, I'm a scientist. I don't, but I saw Reverend Donna and what happened with JJ and Tylee. I saw it as it played out. In fact, when she did that reading, I said, this is nonsense. And I immediately cut it off because I said, she has said something so inappropriate, so unacceptable. And yet 6 months later, the news is reporting that what she had said 6 months before was exactly the condition that they found those bodies in. And I've never been able to get past that. I was listening when it happened, so I experienced it. The next thing that happened that blew me away was she said that Suzanne Morphew was buried, and that there was a very strange tree. And she describes this tree, right? And it seemed nonsensical. It didn't seem possible that a tree would look like what she described. And she said something about that she was buried in a field. And I was like, she's in the damn mountains. Of course she's not in a field. She's in the mountains. She's dropped off a cliff somewhere where no human being could ever get, right? Where the hell was she found? In a literal field, just a couple of 100 yards off of the main highway. And there was the tree. There was, bigger than Dallas. And I'm going to tell you straight up, I don't know what she's got going on, but she's definitely different than anyone that I've seen ever. She has some kind of gift. There's something about her. So, I would say if you wanted her to try to do a reading, maybe talk with her. Is this the same church that has a podcast on missing children but hasn't covered Sebastian? If so, he stated that he didn't know the stinky feet. Spicy, I don't know about that. Does anybody know the answer to Spicy's question? So there's someone who does a podcast on missing children. What's the name of the podcast, Spicy? Does anybody know? These are the only two I know of. Yes, it is. It was true, Morgan. Both cases, both JJ and Tylee were found in exactly the condition that she told about 6 months before they were discovered. And 2 years before Suzanne was found, she described Suzanne buried in a pasture, a field, with this strange looking tree. Yep, both of them. And I'm forever convinced. Do any of you live near the town of Sebastian, Florida? I know the name is incredibly ironic. I am not from Florida, Caps and Ethel, but you know who is in Florida? The channel J is for Justice. She also has another channel called Every Day with Jay. She is from Florida. You might get in touch with her. She's got a lot of friends in Florida, I think. What do you know about Sebastian, Florida, Cabs? Yeah, Mama Mo, I'm telling you, I'm a believer when it comes to Donna Serafina. She had a daughter that died. And she says that her daughter talks to her and tells her these things. Aiden Clooney from California and Dylan Rounds. That was pretty crazy, wasn't it? When those two they kind of looked alike, didn't they? And then they both went missing around the same time, near in the same area. It was kind of sad. Tragic, very tragic. You think it does, BJ? I kind of thought it did too, but I'm not really dialed in, on that. Spicy Disaster. Yes, I think it is Tyler Feller. He did true crime. Yeah, he does true crime, but does he do missing children? I don't think he does missing children. I don't know what I'm talking about. He may. I shouldn't say that. That's not shady or anything that he didn't search for Sebastian. Tyler Feller is the youth pastor. Oh, is that right, Alicia? So this church, this Freedom Church in Gallatin, Tyler is the youth pastor? Is that right? It is a small world, isn't it? Wow. Huh. We all thought Suzanne was under a glacier, right? I mean, everybody that was in that case, following that case, we all had in our mind that, Barry's this crazy outdoorsman, that he would have taken her someplace. Really, I mean, remember AK and everybody was going into caves and old mines. And I mean, everybody was convinced that she was going to be in like the super, super hard place to reach, right? And that is not what he did at all. She was just an hour south of his house, and it's like a high mountain meadow. So everything is super flat, and there's no big trees or anything around. And she's laying there a couple of 100 yards off the highway, and there's one lone tree. Just exactly what Donna Serafina described. It was really chilling. So it is Tyler Feller. Wow. I was on a panel with him one time. He seemed like a nice guy. I mean, he wasn't like, shady or anything. Yeah, I think he still is. I think he still has a channel, Ohio. A very good guesser, Patricia. Yeah. I'm not a believer in the paranormal, supernatural. I'm not a believer in that kind of thing. But what happened with JJ and Tylee, I was just in shock. It was unbelievable. And then when the same thing happened with Suzanne Morphew, then I was like, okay, something is different with her. And I'm not about to embrace the paranormal. I'm not about to start going out to get tarot card readings, nothing like that. But I do think there's something. I do think Donna Serafina has something that she's in touch with. There's something different. All about Dylan Rounds' case. That's true. Wait, what? Yeah, he did do a lot with Dylan Rounds. And then you remember that crazy guy that started coming on his channel? Oh my God. The like private investigator. What was his name? Oh, he was so crazy. Offensive, right? He was really, really out there. Donna did a reading regarding Sebastian, a house on a rounded corner, flower bed and tractor. Maintain in background. Side of house shows wind go around the rounded corner. I'll have to go look, Rosebud. I think she's one of these people that has had enough demonstrated success. It's probably not a good idea to ignore what she says. Doesn't necessarily mean she's going to be right, but maybe kind of look and see. But I'll go over to her channel later tonight and see what I can find. I thought Suzanne was down a mine shaft or in water. Yeah, for sure, Hybrid. I mean, we were all saying the same thing, like she's under a glacier or she's down in a mine shaft or she's dropped off like a high mountain cliff. I mean, it was where they lived. Man, their backyard was the edge of nowhere. Like that was hard country. I just kept thinking he got on a four-wheeler and took her off to the back, the high mountain range, and that she was just gone forever. I did believe that. He was in Utah looking for Aidan Clooney as well. Did she do a reading with Gabby Petito? Boy, that was such a sad case, wasn't it? That's another one that I got very angry in the case. I got really angry with the cops when they did the traffic stop and they were showing the video. I was furious. I said, those cops are abusing Gabby. Like we are seeing it and it's happening. And so many people were angry with me. And, come to find out, I was right. And the county fired them and fired the department head. And it was a big scandal before it was all over with. But they really, if they had handled that properly and intervened properly, she could be alive today, and they didn't. They minimized her experience. They were yucking it up with him like, one of the things I said is, are they abusing their wives? Like they acted like it. They were making jokes about mistreating their girlfriends. So sad. So if you stop and really listen to people's words, you can learn a lot about them. Tyler baptized Laura's son. She enjoyed the service and isn't even religious. She did not describe anything unusual and said that her son enjoyed it and Tyler was very kind. Yeah, Amber, I've been on a panel with him. He's a great guy. He's very comfortable. His conversation, it never feels like inappropriate or strange. I like him. I think he's probably a good guy. Need an email, Miss Allegedly Innocent. I can give you my email, Jen and Dawn. Okay, here it is. I'm going to put it in the chat, Jen and Dawn. You can email me at Fools and Sages. Like the song. Oh, that's amazing, Rosebud. I love to hear that. Rosebud said, if it wasn't for Gabby, I may have not taken my daughter's situation seriously with her abuser, who is now in jail. Gabby saved my daughter and my grandson's life. I love that, Rosebud. It's amazing. So thank you for sharing that. That is what it's all about, isn't it? It really is. Thank you, Mama Mo. Dr. John from Hidden True Crime agreed with you too, Jules, and you two are the smartest people that I know. You're a sweetheart. Thank you, Mama Mo. Yeah, I love Dr. John. I've listened to his videos. He's great. God does work in mysterious ways. I would absolutely agree. One officer asked Gabby if she was the golden child. Gabby acted like she knew what that meant, looked afraid at that statement. So I did side eye. Yeah, it was chilling watching those cops. I was horrified, truly horrified. And remember the video where they go into the grocery store later on? You can totally see that she's been mistreated. You can look at her body language and tell that she's terrified. And in a lot of ways, Katie has that same approach. I do feel so bad for Katie, and I think a lot of people are kind of irritated by that, but I think she needs to be protected just as much as Sebastian needed protection. I wish she would find the courage to reach out and ask somebody for help. Yeah, that would be wonderful, Cabs. That is really crazy, Cabs. Where were y'all at? What town? Absolutely, Mama Mo. When my daughter, when her boyfriend, asked if he could marry my daughter, my husband said, I need you to know. And he said, I'm not playing. He said, I'm being serious. He said, I need you to know if you ever hurt my daughter, I'll come and kill you. Don't you ever put a hand on her. And I told my husband, I'm glad you said that. Good. We got to protect our daughters. I mean, we have young men that are wonderful guys, right? We do. There's a lot of really, really good guys out there. But sometimes the young men, maybe they didn't grow up in a very good situation, and they need to know there's real men out there that will do anything to protect their daughters or even their sons. But, our girls, we do need to, make sure that there's not going to be any foolishness, right? I Googled Bower Socks, Proudfoot guy, Indian Harbor Beach. Oh, so that's why you were asking about Sebastian, Florida. Oh my gosh. Oh, wow. Exactly, Tina. Yeah. I would help her in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat, if she reached out, I would do whatever I could do to help her. I think she's in a real bad situation with that dude. I think that whole going to the camper, just a few weeks after Sebastian went missing, I don't think she made the choice to be with her husband. She was told that she was going to be going with him. And it makes me wonder, what's he afraid of? Like, was he afraid that she would talk? Was he afraid that she would reach out to the cops and say, I want to tell you everything that happened? It was she, there's no way she willingly left at that house knowing her son was out there. I don't believe that. Yeah, I've got it pulled up right now. This was their what you're looking at right now. This was the sermons that they were doing at the time that Sebastian went missing. So this was the sermon for the whole month of February, Adam and Eve. And so it started with opposites attract. No, it ended with opposites attract. On the up and up, buying the lies, conflicted, and opposites attract. I'm gonna have to listen to this tonight when I'm getting ready to go sleep. They don't have very many views. Come on, preacher. You're not inspiring passion in your congregation there, buddy. Unless she knew he was dead, she wouldn't leave. 6,000 on Facebook. Cabs, if I was there, I would totally drive by. I would do it in a heartbeat. It must have been exciting, right, Tam? How do you dedicate a whole month to Adam and Eve? That's so funny. They must have stuff on each other, and that's the only reason. Look at the cops, Mama Mo. It's almost like, why are they so confident that the cops are not paying attention to them? Is it because maybe the cops also have a problem that maybe Proudfoot helped them with? I think she left the house because she knew that happened there. Oh, maybe. Yeah, 3 sides true crime. Maybe. Yeah, good point. I hadn't thought about that. You just mean you think maybe she was just super uncomfortable there because of what had gone down. Yeah, can of Raid. My mama carried a can of Raid, and also oven cleaner. She carried that in her car with her because she was a nurse and worked the night shift graveyards. So she'd go to work like at 11 at night, and she'd get off at like 7 in the morning. So she had a firearm, she had her oven off, and she had her can of Raid all right there on the seat next to her when she was driving to work. She's cute. I had the best mama in the whole world. 6 a.m. Sebastian not home. Took mom till 6:30 to call police. Was she doing her hair and makeup? Oh my gosh, Barb, that's chilling. No, I think she was scared. I think they were getting their story together, and she was afraid. What did Christopher Proudfoot say? Here we go. Remember when he said that? That was like, okay, we're on. This is our show. Agreed, KJ. Yes, I would agree with that. Remember the hairspray rave. Oh, yeah. Or Aquanet. Rave and Aquanet, right? The house is owned by Daniel Guy Realty. Man, Cabs, you know a lot of stuff, don't you? Daniel Guy Realty. So Daniel Guy is a surgeon. Berkshire Hathaway? Damn. That's big money. Sugarloaf King. What the hell? Okay, I'm going to quit reading now. I'm going to end up down a rabbit hole in Sebastian, Florida tonight. I see that. Thank you, Cabs. Thank you for robbing me of my beauty sleep. All right, I'm just kidding. You guys are amazing and awesome. Thank you so much. Yes, I got a little bit frustrated tonight. I apologize. I try not to let that happen. But that thing with Fox and Friends really triggered me. The balls to get out there and just put those photographs out. They weren't looking for Sebastian. They weren't even looking for him. It's terrible. It's just awful. Sebastian, he deserved more, so much more. Please advise me what to do. Google 211 Waterbury Indian Harbor. Daniel Guy. All right, let me get that. 211 Waterbury Indian Harbor. Why don't you call 911? If you call 911, they'll just go to the house. It's a $500,000 house. Oh no, I'm sorry. 738,000 now. Robert T. Cross, 97 years old. Huh. So it's an old dude. Oh, realtor.com's got it valued at 965,000. Damn. Doubled in value. That's crazy. I keep thinking that's where was Charlie Adelson from Indian Harbor? No, his was Whale Harbor. He was at Whale Harbor. Yeah. Interesting, Cabs. I mean, this is very interesting. Have you thought about calling the police and telling them? Exactly, Crafting. Yeah. I don't know that I would call the Tennessee. I don't know. I don't think I would call TBI. I think I would call Florida. Call Florida law enforcement. What is the name GH? Somebody give me the name. If the woman's dead, it doesn't matter anymore. You can say her name if she's dead. I would totally report it, Kelly. Mama Mo, I can't even listen to that nonsense. Like my ears literally get tired. Truly tired. Please scroll up and read all of my comments. I will, Cabs. Going to drive by now. I saw Sebastian blocks away last spring. Yeah, it's very weird. 3 sides. Well, just I don't know if that's a good side of town or if it's safe, but I mean, certainly you could call the sheriff's office or the local police and just tell them. So they'll go. The Florida police are good. They'll go and do it like a just check, right? Trooper's mom, they're not in Nashville. He's not in Tennessee. They're in Florida. That's why I said I would call Florida local police to get it on the record so it can't be hidden by TBI or Sheriff Craddock. I wish they'd leave him alone too, Mama Mo. He's gone through enough. It's so bizarre that they're demonizing him. Oh, wow. Are you okay, Critter? Thomas S. and Lisa Guy. Do you remember Joel Guy? The guy that killed his mom and dad? Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad you're safe, Critter. It's in Brevard County. Stefan says if you try to call Sumner County, they're just going to tell you to call Florida law enforcement. Yeah. Just go to the local sheriff or police department. Joel Guy killed his mom and dad, Tim. Because they wanted him to get a job. It was actually far more complicated than that. He had pretty bad autism, but he was brilliant. He had a really high IQ. Yes, Kelly O. That's the guy that I know. Well, I mean, I used to know. I knew him when he was in high school. Oh yeah, I didn't think about Bullhorn Betty being there in Florida, sunset gazing. Yeah, go to the county there. That would be the sheriff's department. I saw Sebastian in March or April here in Indian Harbor Beach. Now I find this house. I definitely think, Cabs, that you should call sheriff's department. And for sure, Cabs, Bullhorn Betty will help you. I just don't know if she's in Florida right now. I kind of think she's like in, well, somewhere else. Melissa Marie Richard. It's crazy, isn't it? All right, everybody. It is midnight, and you guys have missed out on your beauty rest. You know what I mean? You need your beauty rest so that you can kick ass and take names tomorrow when you're out there working and doing your best. Saturday, I will be doing flashlights, trash trucks, and lies. Oh my. Tomorrow, I will be here. I'm going to do a fun live, something not quite so heavy and disturbing. And we may have to give like moral support to Cabs and Ethel. And I'm telling you, Cabs, I really think you need to contact the sheriff's department in Brevard County. I think that's exactly who needs to know the information that you have. And we're here for moral support if you need it. But I'll be praying for you and you'll be okay. But go to the cops to report. Make sure it's the sheriff's department and report all that you've told us. I would totally do it. All right, everybody. I hope you guys sleep well and that you have wonderful dreams and that tomorrow is a happy, sunshiny day wherever you are. And I'll be back. Sometime tomorrow, I will be back. I promise I will.
Unfold under the pale moonlight. From the darkest corner, stories unfold. True crime jewels, she's brash and she is bold. On the YouTube screen, we're digging deep into the mysteries that never sleep. From missing kids in Tennessee to angry husbands named Barry. True crime's calling, and we're taking the time.
Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and thumbs up and record your number in the chat.
From missing people to twisted minds, we're unraveling secrets old Barry tried to hide. Every clue, every twist and turn. In the world of crime, there's always more to learn. On the YouTube screen, we're digging deep into the mysteries that never sleep. From Christopher's anger to Stephen Fisher's lies. The truth is calling, and justice won't be denied. So grab a seat, don't miss a beat. True crime jewels on the YouTube streets. Lights are low, suspense is high. We're chasing truth, we spot every lie. Step into the darkness, hold on tight. Two flashlights out there in the dead of night. On the YouTube screen, we're digging deep. Barry Morphew's case is hot. A boy in Tennessee won't be left behind. From the coldest cases to the ones that shine. True crime's calling, and we're taking the time. So grab a seat, don't miss a beat. This true crime jewel's got what you need. We're always watching Barry and waiting for the truth. In the world of crime, we discuss the proof. So hit that play and join the true crime journey with jewels of thought and her gemstone family.